My biggest win with the journey has been that inner peace and just that fundamental knowing that I've got full purpose and great deal more happiness.
That was amazing for me, and actually for my whole family. Allowed us to keep this open mind on life and to open to all the opportunities.
I have so much more freedom and self-connection and health and vibrancy. I just feel more alive.
The journey helped me to understand what my emotions are, not to be scared of them.
It changed my life. It cleared all blocks and brought into my consciousness what my heart's desire was.
Now I feel my life is easier. I feel stronger, feel what I feel and find a new solution.
To be free from the burden on my shoulders. I live in the moment now, and I'm open to my emotions from the highest to the lowest.
Until the journey, I didn't really know that I could get to the same depth without using any substance. It's getting easier and easier to connect to the deepest part of myself.
Probably the biggest improvement is my inner life or my inner freedom to be as myself, in myself, not being a victim of circumstances and the other people.
The journey has really been a second chance in life for me. Having permission to dive deep and find out who the real authentic me was and just to be that person has just been wonderful.
When you listen to yourself and when you really touch your soul, something magical happens.
Life is different because of the journey. I feel I have all the tools I need to face whatever life throws at me. Life has become fun.
My biggest win was healing a broken heart, and not once, many times. I would never have been able to be in the position that I am in now had it not been for the journey.
Befriending myself in really accepting who I am, that I am perfectly imperfect and I don't need fixing.
I've gained so much. So there is no one big win. If it had to be named as one thing, I would just say it's life-changing.
It's changed my world, it's changed my life, it's changed me. And it's allowed me to be open and vulnerable and completely transparent.
My biggest win since attending the Journey Intensive has been finding myself. It has been healing, transforming.
I am just so much more receptive and open to whatever God has planned for me. At the very core of me, being able to experience that peace has been priceless.
Hello and a wonderful good evening. My name is Daniel. I'll be just doing a very quick intro and bringing on Brandon in just a second. Now, I just want to welcome you to this live event, this live evening. I look at the chat and I'm just blown away. We have 200 people in the room tonight from Denmark, Belgium, Switzerland, Romania, UK, Slovenia, Belgium, Portugal, Scotland. And it just points to one thing for me, that this work, there's a thirst for this work all over the world. And Brandon, our founder, she's been doing this work for 30 plus years. And I'm always amazed there are still so many that haven't heard about Brandon or the journey. So tonight you have an amazing opportunity. For about an hour we'll be together. Brandon will be sharing not just part of the story of herself and the journey, but we will hopefully having an experience yourself, so you have a taster of what it could be like to learn more about the journey. I think the topic we're covering tonight is very, very prevalent. We're living in such a mind-based society. We wonder why there's so many things wrong with us in the world, and the body really not only keeps the score, as it's been written in some books, the body also has the answers if we knew how to listen. So that's what we want to explore tonight. I have a great privilege of being with the journey for almost 10 years. Like all the people you just heard in the video, it's been life-changing for me too. That's why I decided to still be here and share this good news, the good news message of the journey. And I think 15 or 20 people you've seen, they're just a tiny, tiny representative fraction of the hundreds of thousands, literally, that have been touched and transformed through the journey work. For me, it's special because I know many of these folks. I've been with them on the journey over the last few years, so I've seen their transformation firsthand. And what I wish for you is that you stay with us till the end. I have a beautiful surprise for you as well at the end, and something very special I'd like to share. But without any further ado, I'd like to hand over to Brandon Bass, founder of the journey. Please welcome her.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel. And I do want to encourage everyone that with these little discovery sessions, they're not just informational, they're experiential. And so I invite you to open up and really let your body reveal to you what's going on. So we'll have a chance to go through guided introspection where you can actually begin to learn how to listen to your own body, to be present to yourself, to hear the deeper, quiet messages that you've been missing while we've all been so busy in the world, and how to really open up to the deeper message that your body's trying to give you. And so I also wanted to thank you in advance for all of you who were sending in your challenges. And I read every one of them and was deeply touched by them. And I began to see there were a few themes that were prevalent. Obviously with all of them coming in, I can't share them all. But there were a number of you who shared that you have fibromyalgia, and yet you're aware also that there's buried trauma there, stored inside your body, that there are, old buried pain and emotional issues that you've not been able to get access to. And yet you've been crippled by fibromyalgia. As a matter of fact, it's interesting that that came up. Just on Monday, a woman came here to Portogheli, where I am at the moment in Greece, from Israel. And there are actually 3 hospitals in Israel where, let's say, you undergo heart surgery. Well, after you undergo heart surgery, you then go into a recovery center where you have the chance to undergo the journey to get to the emotional root cause of what co-created the heart disease. And the same is true in the oncology, the cancer hospital. The same thing after you've undergone treatment with the medical doctors, then you will go through the journey in the recovery center to really get to the emotional corollary of what co-created the illness. And the same is true for fibromyalgia. And so that's a very crippling disease, which is they consider degenerative and actually not curable. And yet they decided that for the last 5 years, they've been following the patients and thousands of patients who've undergone the journey, getting to the emotional root cause, to the trauma that's stored inside, the pain. We don't need a doctor to tell us that if someone's having repeat heart attacks or cardiac arrest, as one of you shared in your challenges, that there's obviously stress going on that they haven't dealt with. And so they decided to do a 5-year study, and they've actually just came out last week with the documentary where scientists were studying and keeping tabs on those that underwent the journey after their treatment in hospital. And they found that the heart attacks weren't returning because they'd gotten to the emotional root cause. And the same thing for the cancer, that it wasn't metastasizing again. And the same thing with fibromyalgia. And again, that people were beginning not only to step out of their wheelchairs, beginning to engage in life. And so I actually got to meet this one woman on Monday, where she came all the way from Israel just because she wanted to meet me in person. And she was sharing that she had been in excruciating pain since the time she was 13 years old. And, since then she's had 5 children, and just to a point where she showed me how her hands were like this when she got into hospital. And she was sharing with me that now she's singing, she's dancing, she's actually giving classes in it. And I said, wow, you're a model of inspiration for all of us, and that the body is a healing machine and it is capable of healing even the diseases that it's said that there's no cure for. And so there's a reason why we've been able to correlate these deep emotional issues, this deep trauma, with the illnesses that get created. And what science has found is that when you feel a strong emotion and you repress it, it releases into your bloodstream a quantifiable biochemistry, which will go to certain cellular locations and block them, rendering those cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, obviously, logically, it takes place in the area where the cells are blocked. What's conversely also known to be true is that when you feel your emotions, naturally, like a child does, where they just come and they go and they're allowed to be here, our cell receptors remain open. Now, what happens? Let's say, you're in an argument and you're at the peak of this argument and you shut down, you just freeze. The moment you shut down, it releases that biochemistry. And what you were feeling at the time, the unspoken words that you were feeling at the time, that you didn't say when you froze, they actually get stored as programming inside the cells. And so not only do the cells get blocked in that area where this programming is stored, but when that cell generation dies off, it passes on its programming to the next cell generation. So the next cell generation is carrying the exact same programming as the previous cell generation. And many of you already know my story that, I ended up being diagnosed with this basketball-sized tumor. And when I was obviously in the doctor's office, the surgeon's office, she said to me, Brandon, it probably started as one cell when you were 8 years old or something. And then it replicated and became 2 cells. And then by the time I finally got to her, and I was 39 years old, it was in the last 2 months before I could finally get in to see the surgeon. The cells were replicating exponentially and aggressively. And there I had this mass inside me. And it's been known for a long time that when we feel these strong emotions and we repress them, that they go somewhere inside the body. And I was kind of interested to see that some of you were already clocking that you had noticed that you were aware that there was buried pain and old trauma. And so this is what the journey is all about. Now, some of you also spoke about feeling that you were seeking for a sense of peace inside and a connection to the divine. Quite a number of you had this longing to rest in this peace, and even though life goes on as it does, to always have a connection to the peace within you. And indeed, for myself, that was the big, huge wake-up call that I got, that not only did I find through undergoing my own healing journey a means to get access to these cell memories that I've talked about, but also a means to get in connection with that infinite intelligence, that part of you that makes your heart beat and your eyes shine and your hair grow. And so this infinite enlightened awareness that is yourself, we all of us came in as that. But unfortunately, through the pains, the natural course of life's pains and trials, this radiant awareness, this love, this peace that you came in as, that many of you were writing about, that you sense is inside of you, it got covered over with a series of lies and limitations and shutdowns. And then when we all got to be adults, it's like we covered over this whole mess with this polished facade, this mask that we present to the world. And we wonder why it is. Everyone thinks we're so full of, and you can finish that sentence. And if you get to be very lucky, as I have been more lucky and blessed than I could ever thank life for, grace for, the universe for, life gives you a wake-up call. Now, these wake-up calls, they can come in so many forms. They can come in the form of a loss of a loved one, in a form of a divorce. I was reading in the Telegraph 2 years into COVID that they were having an overwhelm, a deluge of divorce cases with divorce lawyers because no one had given us a manual. How do you deal with lockdown, having to suddenly homeschool your children, being maybe even frozen out of your job or losing your job? And no one gave any of us a manual how to deal with that. And so many people ended up in so much stress and strife within their marriage and their family that they simply couldn't cope and ended up seeking to get a divorce. And so if I had to say, what is the journey in a nutshell, the best way I could describe it is to give us all a metaphor that we all of us come into this life as this radiant field of light, of love, as an enlightened awareness where we feel ourselves to be part of and in everything. As a matter of fact, science has found that when you are newly born and in the first days and weeks of your life, when mother's hand comes before your eyes, you actually experience mother's hand as being part of you. That's how vast this infinite field of oneness is. But unfortunately, this peace, this love, this oneness, it gets covered over with a series of lies and limitations, shutdowns. And it can be something simple like you're 3 years old and you're crying about something. And your mother says, come, we've got to get up to nursery school. Let's dry these eyes, let's get going. And the little you gets it, oh, I'm not allowed to feel, at least not the ones with the tears. And the first involuntary, automatic shutdown happens. And when you start shutting down one emotion, you start shutting down all the emotions. I can remember I came from a very domestically, brutally violent, challenged childhood. And part of the way I used to escape was into my children's books. And I loved reading. And of course, I became a good reader and a good speller. And I was in the 3rd grade, an 8-year-old, in our elementary school. And they were having a county-wide spelling bee where we were all going to meet in a stadium. And all the schools were coming together. And I was selected to represent the 3rd graders in my school in the spelling bee. And I'll never forget this moment. I was standing in front of hundreds of people, and I was on stage, and I'd already spelled 3 difficult words. And then they gave me one of the easiest words in the English language, the word fleet. But I'd not seen that word in any of my children's books. But I had seen the word flea, an insect. And I said, F-L, E-A-T. And the whole audience was hushed. And all at once, it erupted into laughter. No one had given me a manual. How do you deal with mass humiliation in front of all the students, your peers, the parents, the teachers? And I looked to my mom, who was sitting in the third row, for her support. And she looked back at me as if I was the greatest disappointment in her life. And she just shook her head and went, and internally, it was like this wall just came slamming down inside of me. And I retreated to the back of the stage where the other losers were. And that day I decided, I'm just so stupid. I'm a laughing stock. I'll never be good at anything I do. I'm just worthless. And it's like this, layer upon layer. I can remember I was 16 years old and I got this massive crush on this guy. And I tried to impress him. And of course, you know what that's like. I made an absolute fool of myself. And I watched the first love in my life run out of my life. And I was running after him. And of course, that day, I decided I'm just so unattractive. I'm just not worthy of love. I don't deserve love. I'll never attract someone I'm attracted to. And it's like this, layer upon layer of these painful shutdowns. And then when we all get to be adults, it's like, it doesn't matter how many of the, we've traveled to 33 countries and giving the journey seminars in person live. And it's translated in 22 different languages. And it doesn't matter what country I go to. We all do this thing where it's like we put on this mask that says to the world, no, I'm an adult, I'm responsible, reliable, you can count on me. And we present this image to the world like we've got our act all together. And then we wonder why it is. Everyone thinks we're so full of, and you can finish that sentence. And then if you are very lucky, life gives you that wake-up call where it's not only a loss of a loved one or a divorce, it can be someone going to war, it can be a trauma that happens, it can be an auto accident, it can be a diagnosis of a serious illness, which was the wake-up call in my case. And it's where for one moment you decide to get real. And you end up breaking through this phony mask that you've presented to the world. And spontaneously, you end up opening down through the layers of the lies, the pain, the shutdowns. And eventually, you end up opening into this vast field of love pervading all of life. And you realize it's been there all along. Only like me, you bought into all the layers that covered it. And if you're very lucky, you fall so in love with this truth inside, with this peace inside, with this love inside, that like me, you'll do anything to clear whatever blocks you, whatever holds you back, whatever shuts you down on any level of being. And so if I had to say, what is the journey? It's about getting real. It's about opening down through the emotional layers into the enlightened awareness of your own soul. And it's at that deepest level, the level of the soul, that you turn the flashlight on, the torch on inside. And you go on a journey inside the body where you go to specific cellular locations and you not only uncover the old programming, the cell memory, the old emotional pain, the trauma, in a very gentle but very real way. But you go through a deep process of release and understanding what's taken place to you in your life. And ultimately, forgiveness. And something magical happens when you forgive. That's when you decide, your soul decides, to finally let go of that story of pain and blame and hurt and trauma. And you end up not only forgiving others, you forgive God, life, you forgive yourself. So that when the new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And that was the gift that my own journey was, is that when I went to the doctor's office, I took my best friend with me because I couldn't get an appointment for a few months to get in to see this famous surgeon who'd written, a whole book about how she didn't want to do surgery. And she had an integrative medical clinic there in Los Angeles, where I was at the time. And so she had connected to her clinic. She had, put people on herbs. She put people on homeopathics. She had guided visualization. She put people on cleanses. They even did yoga at this clinic. So they were doing everything alternatively that they could offer. And that surgery was the last thing that she would offer if the other way forward didn't work. And so I can remember she just diagnosed that I had a basketball-sized mass. And you may have thought, because I have been in the field of health and complementary medicine my whole adult life and been certified in so many different areas, that I would have taken that news with some calm and understanding. But I got to tell you something. When I got that news, my heart was pounding through the roof. My mind was going a million miles a minute. And so I was so grateful I had my girlfriend along. So she started to ask the questions that I couldn't even find how to phrase to speak the doctor. And it was the more she asked, the more dire this doctor was making it sound. And I finally blurted out, please, I'm in the field of complementary medicine myself, and I need to be given a chance to give it my best shot. And she said, well, I'm sure you contacted me because I have a whole integrative medical clinic attached here to this surgery. And if I thought you could go that route, Brandon, that's the first route I would recommend for you. But look at all these case studies above you. There's not a single woman who's been diagnosed with a mass as large as you, so who has healed herself naturally. So though I may wish you well, you need to get real. You're going to need to get into the hospital today. We need to find out, is it benign or is it not? And cancerous or is it benign? But it's not going to matter. It's going to have to be surgically removed, and I can't do that. But my schedule is booked for months. You'll just have to take whoever you can get. And I said, well, can you buy me some time to at least try to give it my best shot? And she said, but you're bleeding internally. And I said, okay, I'm trained in medical hypnosis. I'm an NLP therapist. I'm an iridologist, a kinesiologist. I'm trained in all these different areas. I'm a master herbalist. If there's some way I can get the bleeding to stop over the next 3 days, how much time can you give me? And she said, well, if you can get the bleeding to stop over the next 3 days, I can give you a month's time. But if you're not significantly healed in a month's time, then you need to come back and let us know what we know how to do, which is to surgically remove it. Now, at this point, I'm walking outside into the LA sunshine, and I'm holding my best friend's hand, and my heart is thumping through the roof. And I can't even think straight. It's like a monkey mind. And I look up, and in front of me, there's a mimosa tree. A tree I hadn't even noticed going in. And as I looked at that tree, it was like time just stopped. And I was in awe. It looked like it had golden blossoms that looked like golden rain. And my racing thinking mind that was going a million miles a minute, it finally just fell away. And I smelled a fragrance I hadn't even noticed going into her offices. And as I stood there in this thought-free stillness, out of nowhere, waves of gratitude came. Gratitude just to see the color yellow, to smell a fragrance I hadn't noticed before. Gratitude just to have a physical body, to be allowed to breathe. And as I was resting in this gratitude, out of nowhere came a gut knowing. Somehow I would be guided to heal. And even though I didn't know what that healing would take place, I was so grateful for all the work going on in the field of cellular healing at that time. And at that time, Dr. Deepak Chopra, he was a chief surgeon general in a hospital in Boston. And he decided he would do a radical thing as a surgeon. He would study people and collect case studies of people who had healed without drugs or surgery, without any kind of intervention. Now, the reason this was so radical at the time is because all of us, both in the complementary medical field and in the orthodox medical field, had all been trained the same way. Look at the symptoms that lead to ill health, that lead to death. We were all focused, what makes people die? But he said, I want to know what makes people heal against the odds. And so he amassed hundreds and ultimately thousands of case studies. And in doing those case studies, he could find that they only had two things in common. One was that through some act of grace or spontaneous event, people got access to this infinite intelligence that I spoke about earlier. And the second thing that they got access to was somehow spontaneously, they got access to those cell memories, which I spoke about. And if somehow they got access to them and somehow released what was there and somehow let go of that programming spontaneously, then when the new cells were born, they were devoid of that old consciousness, of that old programming. Now, I knew all this. I'd not only studied it, I'd seen the case studies with my own eyes. But you can know on all the science on the planet, and you can understand how cellular healing happens and how programming is passed on from one cell to the next. But unless you have a method, it is no more than a bunch of pretty and inspiring words on a piece of paper. And that's where I stood. And yet I had this gut knowing somehow I would be guided to heal. And that was the gift of my own healing journey. It was a radical 6.5 week, life-changing healing journey where I found a way for all of us to, in a direct, practical, gentle way, in a very real way, open into that infinite intelligence. And in a very real way, go on a journey inside your body to those specific cellular locations and go through your own process of release and letting go, understanding, forgiveness. So when the new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness. And so people have healed with the journey with all kinds of things, not just cardiac and oncology, cancer and fibromyalgia, but arthritis and eczema and asthma and allergies and even the common cold, COVID, all of it. And it requires only that you be willing to get real and to go on your own journey inside and uncover the truth of what you've buried away, what you just couldn't look at. and to go on that journey inside and then open firstly into your own soul and be guided by your soul to these cellular locations to undergo this life-changing process so that you can heal on all levels of being. Now, I'd love to be able to give you the full teaching of the journey and how to do that, but that's actually part of a 2-day immersive journey intensive retreat where you really roll up your sleeves and you dive in and you not only get the teachings from me and the guided introspectives and meditations, but you actually undergo the one-to-one physical journey and the emotional journey, all the work that I've been told about, telling you about, where you leave and you're just in a place not only feeling washed clean, but you've got the tools to work with other people, which someone mentioned on the video, that he now has the tools to deal with whatever comes up in his life. But even though I cannot give you this very in-depth work that is getting such beautiful results, that is being used in hospitals and by medical doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists around the world, it's also being used by people from all walks of life. So though I can't give you that full immersive teaching, I can give you a process right now, if you're open and willing to undergo it, where gently we can learn to befriend our body. We can begin to start this listening process and this opening with what our body has to reveal. So if you'd like to join me, let's take a nice deep breath in and letting it out and closing your eyes. And let's take a deep breath in of openness to whatever the body wants to reveal to you and blow that into the room. And willingness, the willingness to meet whatever it is the body feels it's ready to reveal. And the body will never give you something you are not ready to face and clear. And so that willingness to really open with whatever the body reveals to you. So let's breathe that willingness into the room. And trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in that infinite intelligence. This that makes your heart beat. This that makes your cells replicate. Trusting your own soul. And trust that your soul wants you to come home. It's your soul that brought you here to watch this video. And your soul wants you to heal. It wants you to clear the blocks. It wants you to find your way back to the love, the peace, the joy that is your essence. Your soul wants that for you. So trusting in your heart's prayer, your soul's prayer for yourself, and breathing that trust into the room. And now letting your heart be as wide as the world. Wide enough to welcome all the feelings that live inside of you. That's how vast, this vast open sky of all acceptance is. And it's spacious and infinite, free and endless in front of you. Vast and open, spacious behind. Infinite and spacious to all sides of you. And we're just resting now, soaking steeping in an open sky of all acceptance. And now turning your gaze inside the body. And I know you know this already, that the body is filled, it's like a container filled with all kinds of emotions. And you know, our feelings, they're like little kids. Some of our emotions, they're loud and attention seeking. Others of our emotions are shy and scared to expose themselves. And others of your feelings, like with a little kid that you've rejected so many times, it hides behind closed doors and underneath lids. And so putting out a warm welcome to all the feelings that live inside of you. And you might even say you're sorry that you've pushed them away and denied them and run from them for so long. And let your body know for once today, you're going to be present. You're going to listen. You're really going to open with what's here. So let the body know that. And now locating in your body some place where there may be little tension or stress or holding or hiding or contraction going on. Some sort of place where there's a little tightness. Locate that area right now. Taking a nice deep breath in and flooding that area. Letting it be softened with acceptance, tenderized, opened. And as it gets softened and tenderized and marinated with the acceptance, if there were a feeling beginning to arise out of this area, what might that feeling be? It might be as quiet as a whisper, but if there were a feeling, what might that feeling be? Or if this area could speak and had words, give it a voice right now. Let the words rise. And if, as you listen to the words, how do they make you feel emotionally? Perhaps some pictures showed up. If there is a picture, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or maybe it's like there's a lid over this area, like it's blocked in some way. Let's assume there might be a lid there. And you know, the same way you peel the lid off a can of peanuts, well, take hold of this lid right now and now lift it off. What's hiding here? How does it make you feel emotionally? Welcoming whatever's here and also whatever's not here. Taking a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding the area with acceptance. And now coming to neutral inside of yourself. And finding yet another area of your body where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding or contraction going on, or some sort of tightness. Find that area right now, locate it. Once again, take a deep breath in of acceptance and flood this area with acceptance. And let it be softened and marinated and tenderized and open. And if there were a feeling beginning to arise out of this area, it might be as quiet as a whisper, but if there were a feeling, what might that feeling be? And just allowing it, welcoming it. Or if this area could speak and had words, what would it say? Give it a voice right now. What would it say? And as you listen to the words, how does it make you feel emotionally? Or perhaps there's a picture showing up. If there is, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or perhaps there's this lid blocking it all. And take hold of the lid right now, lifting it off. What's hiding there? Welcoming whatever's here and whatever's not here. Taking a deep breath of acceptance and now flooding this area with your own acceptance, your own love. And if it feels appropriate, as you come to neutral now, you might like to let your body know that you're going to start being present to your body. You're going to start the journey of listening to what it has to say, opening with the feelings that are there, being present to what's showing up. So if it feels appropriate, you can make that promise to your own self to be present to what's going on inside, to listen, to be open. And then taking another nice deep breath in and flooding the whole body with acceptance. Coming to neutral. And once again, the heart is as wide as the world. Vast and open, spacious and free in front of you. Boundlessly spacious and free behind. Endlessly vast and spacious to all sides. Vast inside, vast out, no out or in. Just resting here, soaking, steeping in this. And taking another nice deep breath in. And sighing it out. And one more nice deep breath in. And sighing it out. And you can open your eyes now when you are ready. Taking another nice deep breath in. And sighing it out. And if the eyes have not yet opened, this is your invitation to open your eyes now. And you can open your eyes now. So I'm going to ask Daniel if he would share from the chat box, and I'm going to ask you to share if any of you had some strong emotions coming or what came up for you, and just to write it in the chat box and just, share what was uncovered, what you discovered, what feelings were there, what emotions were there. So if you just write in the chat box, and then I'm going to invite Daniel to read out loud some of what has been written.
So the first one, Brandon, even before you invited people to share, somebody wrote, "Thanks, I feel really spacious. Blessings." Vicky wrote, "I feel really calm." Marianne, "Anger, which I never express." Beatrice, "Rage." Jill, "Feel very connected now." Margaret, "Anger and shame." Kathy, "Helplessness and panic in the throat and anger, big anger around my heart." Fear, a lot of sad. I'm getting goosebumps and really get emotional just reading this. A lot
Yeah.
of sadness and loneliness came up. There's hunger masking sadness. Just love for all my cells. A lonely place in one area. Calm, almost sleeping. I found a dark, empty place. There are dozens today, Brandon, dozens.
Wow. You know, some of you really uncovered deep issues, deep emotional issues inside of the anger, the rage, and the feeling of a profound loneliness. And these are usually emotional issues that after you've peeled a few layers away, then you get to these deeper issues. And it's clear that just this little bit of befriending your body and the willingness to listen, that your body is really revealing the deeper emotional issues that are there, the fear, all of that, the shame. That's usually one that's very deeply buried. It's just almost excruciating to feel shame. And so this isn't my invitation, but I do believe it's the invitation, the call of your own soul that it's time to come home. It's time to clear whatever blocks you. It's time to open into this peace that is here and to really take this lampshade off your light and to clear these painful cell memories, these old traumas, these old pains. And so, with all my heart, I invite you. I'm going to ask Daniel to speak a little bit more about it. But we have some upcoming online journey intensives, and these never, ever happened before COVID. But when COVID happened, and I had been traveling 44 weeks out of the year, traveling to all the countries that we offer the journey in, and that came to a stop with COVID. And we had to take the work online, which means you can take this work into your own home and experience it personally, experientially. And what happens at the Journey Intensive is that it's a deeply immersive retreat where not only am I teaching you all the process work and how to undergo it and taking you through guided introspections and meditations, but in the afternoon, you get together one-to-one with another person and you actually undergo the journey process. And on the first day is the emotional journey process of going down through the layers and opening into the vast infinite love that is your nature. And we have supporting these, the journey practitioners who've gone through a year's training to become journey practitioners and 6 courses and completed case studies. So they're there to hold an embrace for you so that if anything comes up, you don't know how to deal with it, immediately they come into your one-to-one room to make sure they hold a beautiful embrace for you and an expert embrace so that you can have the deepest process work. And on the second day, you'll be going into the physical journey, where that's the one where you're going to certain cellular locations and uncovering the cell memories there. And so it's a very profound time and a very liberating time. And you leave feeling washed clean. And they have a third day, which is a bonus day of learning all the advanced skills. And so it's a very profoundly liberating time. And my prayer is that when you go to the Journey Intensive, not only do you undergo the work for yourself, but you have this toolbox where you can take it out, use it with your children, your family, your loved ones. I just gave a journey designer process 2 days ago. My godson was someone came to him, he's only 16 years old, and in a schoolyard that came and tried to stab him with a knife that got it on CCTV, just an inch away from his nose. And he managed to get out and run away from it and call the police. But the trauma was stored there because, of course, he froze. And so I just spent the time online, even though he's in Australia, going through a deep process. And he is left now joyous and free. And his mother wrote to me that he's his old joyous self. He feels at home in himself and completely free from this huge trauma that he just faced. And so these tools, I want you not just to use them with yourself, but to help your loved ones take the lampshades off their light. And so we have ongoing journey intensives happening in various languages. And I'll turn you over to Daniel because he can share more with you how you and where you can and what dates you can undergo this work. And I really want to ask you that if you feel you uncovered something that's deep, please don't wait until it becomes a wake-up call like I did. Let it become this session is your wake-up call. It's a call home, to come home to the peace inside and to liberate your life. So I pass you over to Daniel, and I thank you for sharing this time with me.
Thank you.
Heartfelt namaste to everyone. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Brandon. I'm always just blown away how just 10 minutes of guided introspection with Brandon brings up so much. Some of the things we might have pushed away for weeks or years. If I read some of the comments, people have unearthed or uncovered memories pushed back all the way to early childhood. And because we never make space to process them, they get buried, and so much energy is used to tuck them away. So what I love to share with you right now, I put a few little slides together. There's hundreds of new people here today to just give you a bit of context. Who is Brandon? What is the journey? But the most important role I have here tonight is to invite you to experience the Journey Intensive. This is an event that for 30 years now has helped liberate tens of thousands of people. People healing from emotional issues, physical issues, mental anguish, fulfilling their spiritual thirst, all in just 2 days. So please allow me to share a couple of slides we put together for you. Can I just check in with the team that these slides are, that you can see that now, that this is now sharing? I just need to see if I can see someone from the team. Can you just give me a thumbs up? I see Anja van Horst, for example. You see the big slide, Anja? Yes? Okay, wonderful. So this is a couple of slides around Brandon and the journey. So Brandon founded the journey and the journey method over 30 years ago. And just to give you a little bit of background about who she is, she for many years worked with Tony Robbins back in the 90s. She ran his health day. She healed herself from the uterine tumor that she shed today in 6.5 weeks without drugs and surgery. And for the last 30 years, she's traveled the world to share that very same process that she uncovered and that healed herself, and shared it with hundreds of others. So she's a best-selling author, speaker, and inspirational teacher. And she's also the founder of the Journey Method, which is the exact method you learn at the Journey Intensive. The Journey, that's her best-selling book, a practical guide how to healing your life and setting yourself free. Now, this book, we already send you a copy as a gift from us when you register for this webinar. This has sold over 1 million copies. It's translated into 23 languages. It was an international bestseller in England, Germany, Australia, South Africa, and many more countries. And there are leaders in the industry, celebrities that endorse Brandon. Here is Tony Robbins. Her story of healing is a testament to the capabilities of human beings. Brandon shows how to manifest an abundance that benefits planet Earth and all its inhabitants. That's from Deva Premal and Miten. They're good friends of Brandon and Kevin. John Gray, author of the Venus Mars series, proof of the healing power that exists within every individual. as Brandon said so clearly, our bodies want to heal. So we need to just allow it, and we can see how that happens at a journey intensive. Now, this is an older photograph. Brandon did say that before COVID, we used to meet in hotels and rooms. That's how I found the journey 10 years ago. And there were hundreds of us together in these rooms, and Brandon did a 2-day live event. And everything that happened in those rooms is now available online. So it's never been easier for you to experience it and to learn the very, very same tools that all of us have learned and studied. So the Journey Intensive, the next one, is coming up in less than a month's time, from the 20th to the 22nd of September 2025. I'll share a couple more bits and pieces around the journey, but I will ask the team to please put the link there in well for you to book it, so you can just do that. So the Journey Intensive is how you yourself can experience the Journey Method live. It's 2 days of teaching by Brandon and presented by one of our international co-hosts, depending where in the world you are attending this event. We have different co-hosts. You will get live support from fully qualified journey practitioners. These are people who studied at least 2 years with the journey, and they will be there to support you because you will actually be experiencing the journey processes yourself. So you will be working with each other in little breakout rooms, one-on-one, but practitioners, trainers will be there to help and guide you through the whole weekend. You can, of course, you also get the process sheets, the scripts that you can use forever for yourself, for your family, and for your friends. So the journey only starts with the Journey Intensive. It doesn't stop there. So who is this for? And we have found that over the last 30 years, if you wish to heal or improve an area of your life, including health, relationships, even career and effectiveness, or experience inner peace, or feel abundance in all areas of your life, unlocking your potential, you want to create a different lifestyle, or want to work on your self-care ability, or purpose and fulfillment, spiritual kind of seeking, then the journey can absolutely help you in all of these areas. So how does it all work? I want to give you a little bit of a breakdown, and I can please ask the team to put the link to the Journey Intensive in the chat as well. So if you want to sign up at thejourneyintensive.com, you will receive the Journey ebook one more time and an audiobook link so you can listen to the audiobook being read, the ebook being read. The event is Saturday, Sunday, and on Thursday before the retreat, there will be a live pre-meeting with the co-host. You will get, of course, all the details. You can just, any questions you might have, how to get the most out of the event. This is optional, but I would recommend you show up at that pre-meeting. That's an evening. And then there is a 2-day event plus the pre-meeting. They all take live, real-time, live in a Zoom room, just like this one here today. You will get live support for the entire duration of the event. And the weekend begins Saturday morning. And plus, there is a bonus day on Monday as well. So there's a 3rd day of the retreat on Monday. Almost 90% of people show up for the day. But if you can't because it's Monday and work day, then of course, that's just a bonus day. But you learn additional tools. Day 1, you learn about the foundational principles. Brendan today spoke to us for just 45 minutes, but you have a full first day. And you will actually do a live process work with your host on the day. You will undergo the first of the 2 core journey processes, the emotional journey, and you will get assigned to a partner and discover the power that lies in welcoming of old beliefs and emotions. And you will uncover a lot more than here today, but you'll be in a safe, protected space and start releasing the things that hold you back. By the end of the day, you will have learned firsthand how your struggles have underlying emotional root causes stored in the body, and how the subconscious mind, and how you can effectively resolve and release them. Day 2, you'll start with a deeply integrative meditation. And after that, you can bring questions and insights and experiences from day 1. And then we go through further exercises to let you connect more deeply with the deepest part of you that is often called your authentic self. You will learn and experience the physical journey, and that's the second of the 2 core journey processes. All the journey work is predicated and based on those two core processes, and you learn them in one weekend. The day will leave you feeling free, empowered, and energized with a very powerful and elegant set of tools that you can use in all areas of your life for yourself, your loved one, and your friends. There's a bonus day. I shared that already. There is additional skills. If you have the Monday available, absolutely no additional cost. This teaches you extremely valuable tools to take the journey process work to another level. You will practice and embody what you learned on day 1 and 2, and you can learn more exercises. There will be another chance to exchange processes, and this is an extremely valuable day. You can pretty much work with any issue that might show up in your own life and with lives of people around you. So there is a very special offer here as well for you available. When I used to do the journey live, it cost multiples of this. It's just 147 because you're here at the webinar. You save 50 euros off the regular price of 197. Even 197 is an absolute steal. You know, I can't believe that this is even possible to offer at such a low price. We have relatively small events, maximum to 130 people. And the reason is that we have these breakout rooms and we have trainers and practitioners coming. So this is not a massive event where you are just ending up somewhere in row Z. So we literally have a small intimate event. So you can go to the journeyintensive.com, and if I ask the team one more time to please just put that into the chat box so you can click that directly. Now, if you are watching us on YouTube or on Facebook, then please, you can go to thejourneyintensive.com and you can immediately reserve your place for the upcoming event, 20th to the 22nd of September. This event is also translated into Czech language. So I know we have many people from Czechia and Slovakia with us, and this is translated as well. I want to give you some other event dates as well. If you're looking for a German event or if you're looking for other languages, I'll share them with you in a second. All of them are on thejourneyintensive.com. You can look for other events and find them there. Now, there's something you will find maybe quite unusual, but we actually have a money-back guarantee at those events. This is very unusual for live events like this, but I wanted to absolutely make sure. Sorry, I just double checking. You can see. Oh yeah, just disappeared there for a second. You can get a full refund after the event if you, for whatever reason, say this wasn't for me. So you can actually attend and say after the event, that wasn't for me. We'll refund you, no questions asked. Absolutely no risk for you. So if you're not sure if this is for you, if you're not sure that you're actually gonna benefit from the work, I just invite you to come and experience it, and then we take it from there. And if not, let us know, send us an email to support@thejourney.com and you get a refund. So there's also special bonuses that we made available for people who are here and for people who are ready to work on themselves on an even deeper level. So not only will you come to the 2-day event plus bonus day, not only will you get the ebook and the audiobook from Brandon's bestseller, you also get a courtesy call, if you wish, an integration call or follow-up call with a journey practitioner. These are people who offer their work in the world to people who need help, and you can speak to one of those qualified practitioners after the event. You also get a book from Brandon's partner, Kevin. He written a bestseller as well called Light in the Heart of Darkness. This is how to heal from depression. Kevin had suffered for over 2 decades of medium to severe depression, and through the journey work was able to heal it. And for 30 years now is depression free. There's some very special techniques that you can use if you feel anxiety, stress, the blues, and forms of depression. You also get a meditation. Brandon and Kevin both guide beautiful meditations. This is the Healing Breath meditation. We send you a link to that. That's a beautiful meditation. You can just put on at any point during the day, or if you need to chill out or relax, or in the morning or during the day. We also have a little video course put together, how to welcome healthy abundance in your life. We used to sell that for 99 euros, but we gift that to you as part of today's bonus bundle as well. And you can even have an additional one-to-one call with an accredited practitioner after the courtesy call, which is something we do after the event to make sure that you're okay, that everything works for you. We also have a private community that you will be invited into after the event. There are thousands of people there from all over the world, and I really hope that you enjoy having finally found like-minded people and with similar values. I did say to you that I would also share with you other events. If you go to the journeyintensive.com, the main page talks about the Journey Intensive coming up 20 to 22nd of September, but there's also a link that says view other events here. And you can see we got a Czech translation for the event 20 to 22nd. There is a Estonian event coming up 10th to the 12th of October. There's a Journey Intensive Germany in German, in Deutsch. I know we have many German friends here today, and Michaela has been translating for them. So thank you very much, Michaela, and welcome for all the German speakers. They have their own German event from the 11th to the 13th. The same price applies to all of them, and you can choose them. There is also a Journey Intensive Australasia, 18th to 20th October. It's of course English speaking, but it's a different time zone. And we have one for the Americas as well later in October. And there's one more as well in November. This is another one for Europe, if for whatever reason you can't join us on the first event. That's pretty much it. There's one more thing I'd like to share. If for whatever reason you can't do the event, so let's say you're signing up tonight for the Journey Intensive, and you realize a few days before, a week before, I can't do the dates, you have a way you can just let us know and you can book at any other event. So if you say, I'd rather then delay it till a later event in November, you can do that at no additional fee. So I would really invite you to grab yourself a ticket now for 147 euros. Then you have your place guaranteed. And if you need to change it to another event, you can do that. Just let support know. You can email us at support@thejourney.com and we'll help you further from there. So thank you very much for being here. It's been a tremendous event. I'm so happy we had hundreds of people here from all over the world. You will receive a couple of follow-up emails thanking you for being here and with another invitation, if you haven't done so yet, to join us at the Journey Intensive. I want to thank you very much. If you have any questions regarding what you experienced today, you can always email us at support@thejourney.com. Thank you so much. I got a lovely, at the European times, Anne-Marie is from 9 to 6. So they're full days on Saturday and Sunday. Any questions, let us know. Team Olga will take care of it. Okay. Thank you for being here tonight. I wish you a beautiful day, evening, or wherever you are in the world, whatever time zone it may be. It's been great hanging out. And yeah, Joe Clark says, great journey, no pun intended. Yes. Beautiful evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you at the next Journey Intensive. Please take this opportunity. All the best.
My biggest win with the journey was being able to access my deepest emotions and free myself from them. I feel more calm and serene.
I found my true calling, and now today I can help others. I love to make an impact. I love to see transformation in others' lives.
For years and years, I used to feel very lonely, and now I just feel a part of everything. I feel I'm alive.
My biggest win with joining the practitioner program is owning my own life back and stepping out of a severe PTSD.
The acceptance of myself and the self-love, so I don't need others to love me. That's perfectly okay.
Life is different now because of joining the journey, because
I just live in so much abundance. You know, I get up every day with a joy for living. I want to go to work. I want to meet other people.
My biggest win was the really deep knowing I actually do have the answers. They are within me.
There is a lot more certainty and openness into where I'm heading and how I'm feeling about things.
I feel more connected to life. It's not an easy path for anyone to do healing work, but it's profound.
One, I'm more balanced. Two, I'm more grateful for those persons who helped me in this life. I enrich my life every day with this wisdom.
It's priceless. There's no better, bigger investment we can do in time, money, or energy.
I was a mess before I started with this work, and I healed from lots of different types of abuse, and that's a miracle.
My life now, because of the journey, is transformed. I have confidence, even if I struggle. It's just I have to let go. It's step after step, and it's no danger at the end.
My biggest win is myself. It doesn't have to be anything else. You can be fulfilled even if you only have yourself.
It's more peaceful. I've learned to process emotions. I learned to be more self-aware, and I've learned when you need to ask for help.
I've been able to have a really deep, long, soulful look at myself, and I've been able to uncover, recover, and heal long-term wounds.
My biggest win being a journey practitioner has been becoming a therapist and a healer, because that's what I never ever imagined it to be.
I'm living from a place of freedom and choice. I'm really conscious in every moment. Any sentence I say, it's coming from just pure goodness.
I feel more authentic, wearing much less of a mask. It's about being you and feeling good about it.
I can embrace all that is. I'm here to share my life, my joy. Now I can just be me.
My own journey of healing from cancer is an inspiration for others. I get to work with amazing people, see amazing transformations in their life.
My biggest win is to be yourself. Just be there for other people, to help other people heal, and just to be there.
I know that no matter what comes, I have the right instrument to deal with whatever emotions every situation will bring to me.
It really has helped me come back to a place of wholeness. I feel like completely authentic. I feel genuine. I feel like I'm in my body.
My big win is my courage and my physical healing, my emotional healing. But in one word, I could say freedom.
The journey is all about releasing all of the emotions that create the illness. I was healed physically within 6 weeks, while I had been in pain over 3.5 years.